But there is a clue at the very beginning that something's amiss because it shows a bunch of like letters written on objects that are floating in the water, as if you were to get out a message to dry land. And one of them said, "I'm just so bored," which is not something I would write on a letter that I would try to send to civilization for help. That kind of, in my thoughts, kind of downplays the predicament you're in by going, "Hey, could you save me from this island away from civilization? I'm just so bored." Hello and welcome to another Blockbuster Reviews. If you don't know what that is, it is where I play a single game of chill marathon on Tetris Effect, and during the game talk about a film and try to review it. I only have until the blocks reach the top, or until I get 150 lines to talk about the film, and spoilers are usually at line 50. I try to get something thematic with the movie that I watched. Let me choose this one. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. So Swiss Army Man is a movie that I saw the trailer for a long time ago and thought, that is a movie I want to see, and I forgot about it for quite a long time and then saw that it was on Netflix, so I gave it a watch. It is not a bad film. I've thought about it a lot since watching it, which was a couple hours ago. I just didn't like it as much as I thought I would. The story is about a man who is on what I thought was a deserted island. It's looking more, after watching the film, that maybe he was lost in the woods or was just attempting suicide in the outskirts of wherever he lives. I'm not 100% sure. But it is a dude who was on a boat or something that got stranded. At least that's how it seems in the beginning. And right before he hangs himself, he notices a body wash up on the beach, and he tries to revive the dead body. It turns out he cannot, and wow, that's a horrible, horrible move I just pulled there. The body is of Daniel Radcliffe. The star of the film is Paul Dano, and the dead body that he finds is Daniel Radcliffe. Paul Dano plays Hank, and Hank tries to revive this dead person, and it's not going well. He keeps it for a while, kind of just hoping for some type of companionship, or he tries to revive it for a while and then tries to kill himself again, because the reason it didn't work the first time is a part of his rope broke, so he uses the belt from the dead man to construct a new noose. And then when the body starts convulsing and farting, he goes over to it, and it turns into a jet ski situation, and the whole film is him with this dead man using his different bodily functions to do different things. It's called Swiss Army Man because he uses his mouth as a dispenser for water. He eventually uses his teeth to scrape and shave himself and do other things like that, and he uses different actions on his body to build tons of different things. But the film, it's kind of magical realism, obviously, because Daniel Radcliffe's character, who he finds out is Manny, after pushing on his chest and letting it come out, kind of like fake breathing, and the body kind of moans the name Manny. And eventually he actually just starts speaking, having almost full conversations. That's kind of spoilery, but not really, because it happens pretty quick in the story, and we're at line 50 anyway. Spoilers for Swiss Army Man. But I think the reason I didn't like it is the film quickly turns from this story, which I assumed was about Paul Dano going crazy in isolation. I see a story about a man who attempts to kill himself while shipwrecked or alone, and I don't know all of his circumstances. But there is a clue at the very beginning that something's amiss because it shows a bunch of like letters written on objects that are floating in the water, as if you were to get out a message to dry land. And one of them said, "I'm just so bored," which is not something I would write on a letter that I would try to send to civilization for help. That kind of, in my thoughts, kind of downplays the predicament you're in by going, hey, could you save me from this island away from civilization? I'm just so bored. I don't have my my internet and my video games. Could you just send somebody, please? This island is so boring. But, I mean, that's here nor there. I should be talking about the film itself. It quickly turns into a story about Paul Dano's character, Hank's insecurities. He's going through and he has to teach this corpse about life, because the corpse doesn't remember anything about life. I was assuming it was... At the beginning of the film, he makes a comment about how he thought he would see his life flashing before his eyes when he was younger, and really he didn't see much of anything. And I thought that's what this was. It was him recreating life with this dead body, was his final moments. It would be a little more poetic. But it doesn't play that ship that like I thought it would. I don't want to get into the big spoilers. Maybe till 100 is when I'll spoil the big spoiler. But it becomes more about this character named, I believe, Sarah, who Paul Dano only knows as the woman on the bus, who he has been taking photos of when he rides the bus, which, you know, is pretty standard creepy fare. But we learn from Stranger Things, you might end up with the guy that took pictures of you without you knowing, and of course I make that joke, and I fuck up that drop pretty hard. And the dead person, Manny, he wants to know about life, and Paul Dano accidentally shows him his phone, which he's trying to keep. He tries to not use as much because it's low battery, and he sees this Sarah character, which, by the way, 100%, I agree, she's beautiful. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a very attractive actress in person, and that's neither here nor there. What is here or there is he then is explaining to Manny what life is like when it comes to women and sexuality and love and the feeling you get in the back of your neck and all those lovey-dovey nonsense things. And he does it by dressing up as Mary Elizabeth Winstead and trying to kind of play through situations that he could have had with her. And I thought this was all in Paul Dano's character, Hank's head. That's Paul Dano's character's name. I thought it was all in Hank's head, and this was all kind of moments before he was biting the bullet alone on this island. He was going to experience something through the eyes of this character he made up, which is this corpse. So that he would have something, because he didn't want to have nothing before he died. He mentioned that when I think on his second suicide attempt. But the end of the movie, the thing that kind of threw me for a fucking loop, all of it's real. They somehow make it through. They use his fart jets, because he has like jet ski farts. Too long to explain, and I'm coming towards the end here. They use his jet ski farts to get to a different location, and it's civilization, and they get to land, and they find, for some odd reason, Sarah's house. I don't know how they got there. In fact, the dead man carried Hank at this point. I believe he like had a broken ankle after fighting a bear. There was a bear. I mean, it's worth a one watch, so definitely watch it. But it's very weird, because I thought, okay, it's gonna be revealed he's been carrying around this dead body for himself to motivate him to get to civilization. But he's gonna like snap out of it once he sees real people and decide to live, and he's gonna take the lessons he was teaching this dead character. Oh my gosh, I fucked that up so hard. Oh, that's embarrassing. I feel so stupid that let that happen. God damn it, the Tetris gods are not smiling upon me. But when he gets to land, you know, normal people come in and they're like, okay, well, there's this corpse. I don't know why he thought the dude was alive, but he brought him with him. And since he's like a nobody and probably committed suicide jumping off a bridge or something, we're just gonna probably have an unmarked grave for him. And Paul Dano freaks out, tries to grab oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. He tries to grab the dead body, bring it down with him, and oh my gosh, am I gonna beat this before? Oh my gosh, I am, I think. I don't want to though. Turns out it's all real. The dead man with powers is all real. People witness it. It gets caught on camera, and that's the part that kind of bothered me. I was like, well, then what is the point of this movie? I thought it was metaphorical. I thought it was a beautiful story about a man coming to terms with his own ability to live and how to do it, and instead it's actually about a dead person using his farts to save a live person. It got weird on me. Anyway, I don't want to lose the game. Swiss Army Man wasn't my favorite. I thought it was better, thought it was going to be better than what it turned out to be. Maybe you'll disagree. I'm already talking about it too much. Go see it.